Welcome along to EXFL Tier 2 Season X. We are here for round 11, the halfway mark of Tier 2 Season X at the Belgian Grand Prix, Spa-Francorchamps. We've got 14 drivers at the moment, still waiting on at least one more to join for 15. Was expected for 17, two of them for some reason just haven't joined. But anyway, after today, we will be halfway done with the season. 11 down, 11 to go. First time ever there's been a bit of a swap between the Hungarian and Belgian Grand Prix, like real life. So we'll have Spa first, then the Hungaroring next week. So, 14 drivers at the moment. I'll go backwards. Arab Chubster, bit of an unfortunate race last time out at Silverstone. P9, went from 2nd to 5th in the standings. It's still very close though, and we'll see if he can scrap for a higher position this time round. We've got Eggy, 3rd in the standings. Showed what was probably his highlight of the season so far in qualifying this time last week, where he just missed out on pole by 52 thousandths to Stelios. So we'll just add that Stelios has left the league. Mutual, I guess. But let's see if Eggy can potentially get that first ever pole. And he's still obviously waiting for that first ever win. It's Belgium. It's probably the closest thing to a home Grand Prix for Eggy, being from Germany. But I guess there's a lot of European races that could be classed as that. For the Mercedes driver, we'll see how he favours today. JJ Francis, his teammate, just behind him. Still yet to score a point on his return in EXFL Tier 2 this season. Let's see if that changes round. We've got Yonder in the McLaren still in the pit lane. He'll be hoping for more points on the board. Frosty Life should be joining now. Only advice was... Okay, cool. We've got Nathan, who's going to be looking for more points on the board, hopefully. His teammate Bluey, for some reason, it might be asleep. I don't know. Bramley at Lang. Everything's broke for him. After winning the Canadian Grand Prix a few weeks ago, he broke his ankle. He said he was going to be out for 9 weeks. And only 2-3 weeks later, he's back in the virtual car. Says his ankle's fine. It may hurt a little bit. He may retire during this race, but he's back, which is the key thing. And he's given it a go, which is great to see. But not only has he broke his ankle, he's broke his phone, so we have no contact besides Xbox. But we'll see how he goes around. The longest track on the calendar. Christian will also be looking for more points on the board. For McLaren, drifting, one of the title contenders. Good showing out in the last couple of races to get some points on the board. Josh Hewitt, championship leader then. 2 races in a row now. It was declared from last week's result that he was in fact not the winner. Sam did not get a penalty for the incident with Stelios because Stelios lost the car a little bit and Sam had no time to react. There's Frosty. So Sam did not get a pen, so Josh did end up finishing 2nd. But he'll be hoping to go out again and try today. I did tell him, or ask him, at the end of last week, how do you favour around Belgium? He wasn't too confident, but we'll see what he does. 43.7 across the line on the medium tyres, like always. Weaving, I'm guessing he's listening to the stream. Ridian, let's not forget, obviously a few years ago, he did that brilliant drive from 17th on the grid to win his first ever race. I think before heading into qualifying, he was a bit not feeling himself too much in terms of confidence, but hopefully throughout this session he manages to gain some. Adam, who's Frosty's now in his car. Good to see in the Haas. Adam, his teammate, will be hoping for more points finishes. A lot of P10s, 9s and 8s. Has been up there in 4th or something, but when results-wise, when it comes to it, he's still yet to claim a top, 7 finish. But by quite a margin, he does put it now on provisional pole. That is quite the margin. But obviously Sam and Josh on the medium compound tyres. So Sam... his teammate, his Ferrari teammate, just in front of him, went from 2nd to 5th in the standings. He's gone from 5th to 2nd in the standings. So Sam versus Josh then. As Stelios has won 2 races, Josh has won 2 races, Sam has won 3 races this season. Everyone else with 1 race to their name in terms of a winner, and that's one of them. Enric in the Red Bull, back at it. Pretty good lap from him, but yeah, very good lap from Adam so far to set the pace. I think that's everyone, and besides the other 14, we have a debutant today, Birdie Saints. Reserving in the Alpine has joined for the Belgian Grand Prix at the halfway mark. He's a brother of a Tier 1 driver, FX7 Danny. Probably the first brother pairing in the league, from what I remember. So we'll see how he goes. And currently he's only 2 seconds off what Adam's delivering. So pretty solid stuff from the Alpine so far, considering, who we saw last week make their debut of Dead Gun, I believe. He was nearly 5 seconds off, so that's a bit of an improvement. So yeah, not too bad so far. So yeah, we'll have to wait for Sam and Josh to go again. Just under 12 minutes remaining in the session. Yeah, as soon as I said Adam getting 8s and 9s and 10s, he's started the session off strong. And Enric too, he's managed to put in a few good laps so far this season in quali. Imola, P2, won the race in tremendous fashion. And I'm going to try and find someone who's about to start a lap. Drifting 31.3 in the first sector. Christian's invalidated. Yonder 31.0 in the first sector, so a few tenths up on the Aston. Heading into the hairpin like. Dry quali, obviously, as you can see, I have heard no reports about what the race will be like, but considering there's no one screaming rain, I'm just going to assume it's dry. As Yonder, unfortunately, has caused the yellow there, so I believe that is his lap ruined. Drifting's just making his way towards the end of the second sector split. We'll see what he can do. A little bit of a slide out of the exit. 15.7. So Frosty on the mediums as well. And we'll carry on with drifting through Blanchimont. Blasting all the battery he has left. And into the bus stop. It's one of those make or break ends of the lap. Takes it pretty nicely. He's running low on batteries. He's got to blast anything left to the line. It's going to be a 44.4 to put himself 8th. And it's going to take him quite a bit to get back into the pit lane. Obviously, like I said, longest track on the calendar. We have Birdie Saints heading out onto the track again. As Yonder will finish his lap. Obviously, a mistake at No Name corner, or the Jackie Inks corner. Adam back out. Same with Josh. Pass Lecom. So yeah, quite big gaps from second to third. Like I said, obviously Sam and Josh did do their laps on the mediums. Eggy's going to have to find some more pace. Chubster as well. Drifting just getting out of the way there. Yonder may potentially be going again. If he has enough fuel. Yeah. Frosty heading down into a Rouge now on the mediums for his run. Up through Radion. And yeah, second runs are to begin soon for most of the drivers. And, well, Josh is the closest to starting another lap. So, or do it. Yeah, we'll do a lap with Josh. Why not? If you're listening to the stream, which I think he does, then well, I don't know if this is going to help or not. But anyway, a lap around one of the most famous circuits in the world. Josh Hewitt then diving down into turn 1, heavy braking. Doesn't quite hit the curb, but gets on the exit, gains the momentum, and now we head down into what is probably, and not even arguably, the most famous corner in all of motorsport. A Rouge, flat out, in these modern new era cars. DRS open, exit of Radion on the straight now. See what he can conjure up in the first sector. 31.2, only up by a slight amount, but obviously it's pretty much only one corner. This, in the middle sector, the technical part, is where he's going to gain all that time that the medium tyres couldn't extract. Into the hairpin then. Taking it pretty planted, bit too planted onto the grass there. Through No Name. Obviously this track updated on the new game. And now through Piron, a slight lift, maybe gear down. Keeping close to the left, trying to extract those thousandths of fractions into the chicane. Takes it very nicely indeed. One right-hand corner to go. Very easy to mess up. Go into the gravel, invalidate, whatever. He's up by 7/10. He gets onto the curb, which actually, in race trim, can send you a bit. So he was brave to take the amount of curb he did there. Flat through Blanchimont. Up by 7/10. Was it in the middle sector? So this is definitely going to challenge Adam's 42.8. Into the bus stop then. Make or break. You just got to attack it as hard as you can. Onto the curbs. Get the momentum. Get the traction. Get the exit. DRS open. Blast everything. And Josh hasn't taken provisional pole away from Adam. He lost a bit of time in the last sector. Adam is going quicker though. Half a tenth up in the middle sector. Enric has just began a lap, I believe. Sam back in the pit lane. Eggy up by 2/10 in the first sector. Yonder's invalidated. Chubster down by a tenth. We'll look back to Adam. Can he extend his advantage? Never been on pole position in EXFL Tier 2 before. And he slid out of the last corner. And that is not going to be an improvement. But he still hangs on to provisional pole. Enric, as Christian, I believe, goes 5th there. Enric, first sector split, up by half a tenth. And it did look like Adam could have potentially extended his advantage. But at the moment, he's still on pole with 6 minutes to go. Eggy, down in the middle sector. He's made a mistake somewhere. Drifting. I don't believe this is a lap. Nope. Bramley at Lang. Through the bus stop. This does look like a lap. So around the final corner. Doesn't slide. Will come across the line. It's going to be a 1 minute 43.7 to put himself onto the third row. 14 thousandths off Christian. Not a bad time from the McLaren driver. So Sam, remember, he's still done that lap on the mediums. He's taken 5 poles this season out of 10. So half the races have gone to him. He hasn't been on pole for a few races though. But if he can get the lap together, which I don't believe he did on his second run, he could also fight for pole. See, I didn't really see what Josh Hewitt did wrong there, potentially in the last sector. He did take a lot of curb, I guess, which may have lost him speed on the whole straight to the bus stop. But Enric now finishes his lap to take provisional pole, a 10.5 head of Adam. Don't know if Adam would have really found another whole 10th in the last sector to maybe be ahead of that, but now Enric fights back. We saw the beginning of his lap being slightly up, but yeah, great lap time from the Red Bull. So obviously Enric's won a race this season in Imola. Adam has not. Josh has won 2 races in Bahrain and Austria. Sam has won 3 races. Japan, Saudi, and Britain last week, obviously. Christian, I think his best result this season has been, what? I think he finished 4th on track in China. Must have finished 7th, 8th in the end. Bram obviously won the Canadian race. Eggy, like I said, still yet to get a win or a pole. Yonder, his best result is 3rd in Saudi. Drifting, won this season opener, of course. Chubster, a pole to his name in China. Still yet to have a win. JJ Francis, obviously he does have a win. Not this season though, he won Britain a year and a half ago. It was a pretty good one. Frosty, he's had quite a few wins, about 4, but not in a while. Obviously, Birdie Saints, it's his debut today. We'll see how Callum goes. Ridian, like I mentioned, won here, 4 years ago, starting from 17th. Still yet to do a lap. And Nathan in what is 82nd Grand Prix. Also not yet to do a lap. Enric back into the pit lane. 3 minutes 20 on the clock to go. Should be able to get in, get out. Even though it is the longest track on the calendars, Ridian's retired. So at this rate, he's going to start his race from last. And we usually do, after the race at least, see if Ridian's outside the top 10, potentially can do a pretty good job. It's just his nature sometimes. Maybe today's another chance, because Nathan is definitely going to, as long as he keeps it valid, do a lap. And Yonder's just exited turn 1 as well to try and see what he can do as well. His teammate currently 6/10 ahead. Adam exiting the pit lane now. And yeah, like I was saying, longest track on the calendar, but it's the, second, third shortest pit lane? Top 3, definitely. Oh, Ridian had food. Fair enough. So Nathan, 31-2 in the first sector. That's lacking around about, what, a second. So Birdie Saints 2.2 off. Just only 3/10 off Frosty, to be fair. You can see these decent margins between each driver. Just under 2 minutes to go then. Enric exits the pit lane. Still waiting for Christian. And there's Eggy. So he'll be... Eggy's usually one of the last across the line anyway, so he's done it again. And there's Christian. So he will be the last one over the line if he can make it over the line. Because you'd start your lap right now, and he's got that advantage of when you cross the line to where he is now. So what? 8-9 seconds. So Yonder up by 6/10, trying to bag a little bit of a slipstream from the Haas there. Doesn't really help him. Through Blanchimont then. And into the bus stop then. Let's see how much he's willing to attack. How much time is he willing to find? Doesn't quite get the right corner. The left is a bit better. DRS open to the line. We'll see what Yonder does. 43.4 to put himself on the second row as Adam and Frosty Life will begin their final runs. So good effort from Yonder there, who takes avoiding action and gets out the way. Let's see what the rest can do then. Adam into turn 1. Does take a better line than we saw the likes of Josh Hewitt, I believe, when he did his second run. But he is now gearing up for his final run. Nathan's retired, so that will be 14th at best. Ridian will start the race from last. And, yeah, they're all gearing up. It's nearly a car park heading into the bus stop. Enric's still got some space in front. I believe that is Sam. Yeah, he's just pulling off, letting the rest go. Eggy as well. He's... him and Christian have still got to try and make it to the line as the rest begin their lap. Adams found just over half a tenth as Josh Hewitt flying into a Rouge and Radion. Enric has now just began his lap, still waiting on Christian and Eggy. Round the final corner, Eggy begins his lap. 6 seconds to go, and Christian has made it. They've all made it. So, 13 drivers. Let's see what they've got. The 2 Haas cars are the first 2. We'll see what Frosty's doing in the middle sector. He's 1.9 seconds down. He's up by half a second here, so he can propel himself definitely into the top 10, looking at roughly 8th at the moment. What about Adam? 57 thousandths up in the first, nearly 2/10 up in the middle sector. Enric never had a pole in EXFL Tier 2, 33 thousandths down in the first. Adam never had a pole in EXFL Tier 2. Are we about to see a new pole sitter at the Belgian Grand Prix, or can the likes of Josh Hewitt, who's down fractionally, take it away, or Sam, who's up by quite a few tenths as well? Do not discount the driver who's taken the most pole positions so far this season. Adam crosses the line, and by 6 thousandths, he has snatched back pole position as Enric is attacking the corners with all his might in that Red Bull around Spa-Francorchamps. Is he up in the middle sectors? We see off into the gravel there. He's down by 19 thousandths. I believe that's Bram off into the gravel, so he will stay 7th at best. Across the line for Yonder, still 4th. Josh Hewitt round the final corner. Can he get back onto provisional pole? He's not happy with his lap. He's down. What about Birdie Saints across the line? P10, now down to P11. Chubster, P4, as Drifting goes P3 in the end. Enric round the final corner. He needs to find 30 thousandths of a second. Enric has found all the time in the last sector to put himself just about on pole position. Sam, by 2 thousandths of a second, just misses out. And Enric has taken it at the end. McLaren on the 4th row. Bram 9th. Frosty 10th. Eggy has stopped for some reason, but he will now start outside the top 10 in P11. Birdie Saints on debut will qualify 12th ahead of JJ Francis. 1.5 seconds off. That's pretty good. But yeah, Enric, by the slightest of margins, has taken his first pole position in EXFL Tier 2. 3 thousandths then, fair, but wow. So yeah, as you could tell, Josh Hewitt not happy with his lap. Crashed over the line, so clearly wasn't up. Drifting. Once again, right at the end, he's not been, well, where you'd want him to be. Round about the bottom of the top 10, but right at the end, he does a lap good enough to put himself right back up at the front So Enric becomes the 64th driver to to get a pole position in EXFL Tier 2. A bit overcast for the race. Don't know if it's going to get worse or stay like this or get better. The drivers just tweaking their setup, strategy, fuel loads, and we'll gear up for the formation lap. 22 laps ahead of us. The shortest amount of laps of any race on the calendar, but like I said, longest race on the longest track on the calendar. And Enric, for the first time in his Tier 2 career, will lead them away on the formation lap. Samuel, Adam, Drifting, Josh, Chubster, Christian, Yonder, Bram, Frosty. Right, let's see what tyres they're all on. It's a vast array of softs and mediums throughout the field. Brilliant. Starting last, and unfortunately already Eggy and Birdie are on the grid. They must have made contact with each other, so they are going to have to wait for a couple minutes. And yeah, this is going to be quite the view. Seeing 15 cars fly through a Rouge. Can Sam challenge Enric for the lead in the first few corners, considering he's on the softs? What can Drifting do as well? So, yeah, Josh, Adam, Enric on the mediums. We know Frosty Life likes to extend his first stint and go long, so he's on the mediums. So we'll definitely see him past lap 11, 12 pit. So what? Soft, hard, medium, hard is the strategy? Or is it soft, medium, medium, soft like last week? It could be, to be fair. But I do remember the softs not lasting a lot here. So I don't know if there was a graphic that appeared or not about race strategy, but there it is. Soft, medium, soft. Well, either one, I guess. Right now, I would assume they're all going to put onto hards by the end, because I do vaguely remember a league race around here where the softs didn't exactly last longer than 5 laps. But we'll see how they cope. I don't think there's going to be rain, because no one's starting on the hards, or like a lot more on the mediums. So it should be rain-free, as Enric will lead them to the bus stop, onto the grid. And we will get this 22-lap race underway. 22 races, remember, on the calendar. This is round 11 to mark the halfway mark of the season. So Enric will put himself P1 on the grid. Lines up. Does it well. Sam, Adam, a career best, I believe, in qualifying for him as well. P3. Drifting. Needs to try and outscore Sam and Josh to close the gap. Same with Eggy down in 11th. Frosty Life got disqualified as well by the end of the safety car. They're all on the grid then. Here we go. 22 laps ahead of us. It's the Belgian Grand Prix with 5 lights ahead of us. And it's lights out and away we go. Enric away from Sam, heading into turn 1. Seems to have got the getaway. Adam to the inside as Drifting gets sandwiched as Josh Hewitt tags the back of him. Adam to the inside. Now slides at the exit of turn 1 and drops all the way down to the back of the field as Enric has a 6/10 advantage to lead them into a Rouge and up through Radion. It's Enric from Sam, from Josh, Drifting, Chubster. Then the 2 McLarens going wide there a bit. The 2 Mercedes also making their way into the top 10 as we have a virtual safety car already because Ridian has gone off at Radion. And Adam will compel himself after that spin. And yeah, Enric with the perfect launch he needed. And Josh did get ahead of Drifting. Position change. Everyone inside the top 12 has either stayed where they are or gained. It's a disaster for the 2 Haas cars. Frosty's lost 3 places. Adam has lost 11. And Ridian does not have a front wing, unfortunately. Gets caught on that curb a little bit as well. And I guess main priority for the drivers now, don't get a drive-through. This is probably the... Oh, it's Drifting goes off a bit there. This is probably the least worthy drive-through anyway of the calendar anyway. No one got one. So Enric can lead them away, and Sam has got the restart a bit better than him because he's right on his tail as the rest follow through. towards the end of the top 10. The two Mercedes, like I said, making ground into the top 10. Birdie Saints currently just outside the top 10, sticking with them as Nathan is under pressure from Frosty. Adam has actually caught quite a lot considering he spun, and Ridian is going to need repairs. So we're coming to the end of lap 1 then, and Sam right on the back of Enric. We know in previous races, second, third onwards, they tend to fight in a bid to try and fight for first, and first gets away. Not in this case. And Josh under pressure from drifting as they both go into the wall. Two of the main championship contenders have come together. They've connected, and before the end of the first lap even finishes, Josh and drifting are into the wall. They carry on, and Josh doesn't seem to have much damage. Drifting visually, neither the same, as that's the two Mercedes up to 6th and 7th, though, as JJ Francis is now ahead of Christian. Here comes the Ferrari of Samel to try and take the lead away from Enric on lap 2. Samel into the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix. Ahead of Enric, his teammate Chubster is having a great start. He's on the podium now because of two of his closest rivals have just made an incident with each other. Yonder up to 4th as well. It's like real life with the top 5 in terms of teams. So Eggy, brilliant start then from 11th to 5th. Ram up to 6th as well. Christian holding down 7th, back in front of JJ Francis. Birdie Saints is running in the points on debut, as Josh Hewitt is going to put him under big pressure. Nathan still holding on to holding himself against Frosty, drifting. Just going to have to definitely look at that again, as the top 2 are breaking away from the rest. As, Ridian has pitted for hards to go to the end. Well, he'll be hoping for another safety car. So Sam on 80%. Enric on also 80%. So these two definitely going to try and fight for the win. And then a DRS train all the way down to P10 as we see Josh Hewitt versus Birdie in the slipstream. Does he try and have a move? Because now he's got to make back up some places. The championship leader in some turmoil at the moment. As down the inside, sending it goes JJ Francis on Christian. And Birdie just had to avoid that. Josh with a bit better momentum, but on the mediums, remember, two Birdie softs. Can't quite get the move done. Drifting ahead of Frosty Life. Adam has gone off again at the final corner, like he did in qualifying. As we see Josh Hewitt versus Birdie. And he's got ahead of him. Birdie 30%, Josh 70%. And he should just have DRS to stay in front. Further forward, we see Yonder now getting past Chubster. It's getting a bit brighter, actually, here at Spa. So into turn 5. Birdie to the inside of Josh. He's fighting back with him round the outside, but Josh has the momentum to stay in front. It was a good try, but yeah, Josh now into P9. Fair enough, as drifting 3 seconds behind these guys. And Frosty still fighting away with Nathan, now is ahead. So Adam, after not being a million miles off these guys, spun and now has to try and gain his time back. So Sam making Enric follow him. And bit of a championship update. Josh Hewitt went into this race. Is going off the track there as JJ Francis. Josh Hewitt went into this race with an 8-point lead ahead of Sam L. And currently Sam's winning the race and Josh is down in 9th and will be under investigation with that incident with drifting as Christian is fighting away with JJ Francis, who's trying to stay on the track. They've lost DRS to the top 6. Both pretty level battery. Birdie's dropped out of DRS of these guys. And JJ Francis no send this time round. But Josh is going to have to try and fight its way through. Christian, a bit of a slide out of the last corner. Will not have DRS. Chubster to the inside. Yonder. They know the detection point is coming up in a few seconds. As another spin for Christian now. As JJ Francis gets a pen. As Yonder and Chubster fighting away with the DRS. And Eggy to the inside. Through a rouge. Eggy ahead of Chubster now. And Bram looking to try and join the fight as well. Eggy blasting his battery. So is Yonder. But here comes Chubster with the slipstream to get back in front of the Mercedes. And will Bram go to the inside? He has a little look. Eggy leaves the door open. Will have the inside line. That might be a warning. But Eggy's still in front. And Yonder keeps hold of third. Ahead of Chubster. Ahead of Eggy onto the gravel. And Bram to the inside will take the place into P5. So JJ Francis 7th. Josh Stewart 8th. Birdie now up to 9th. Drifting into the points because Christian, there was an incident at turn 1 where we saw him spin. Don't know if he got hit by JJ Francis or he lost on his own. All over the back as Josh Stewart is getting past JJ Francis, who's off into the gravel and into the wall. As we have a virtual safety car again. As Christian tried to move on one of the cars ahead, didn't quite work. So JJ Francis is now off. That promotes Callum up to 8th now, drifting 9th, Frosty into the points. Don't know if again Josh Stewart was involved in that incident with JJ Francis or he went off himself. But that's the second driver now who's gone off, lost his front wing and caused a VSC. So what do the drivers do at the front? Is it worth pitting? Yeah, it's only lap 4 and you would probably pit for the hards. But Yonder's taking the gamble. He's gone into the pit lane. And no one's following him. The VSC last time was pretty short. It's not actually a bad call, but it is a pretty short pit lane. So the amount of time you're going to gain is not really going to help as much. He has put the hard compound tyres on. As JJ Francis retires in the pit lane to become the first retirement of the race. DRS is enabled. The VSC is over. No one's got a drive through. And Sam L continues to lead then ahead of Enric. They managed to save some good battery there. And Bramley at Lang has been quietly making his way through the field. And now the Williams finds himself up in P3 now, ahead of Ab Chubster, who's still going to try and hang it around the outside. But Bram has the momentum to stay in third. Bit of gravel kicked up, but he's got the move. So three-way fight for the podium here. Frosty, 3-second time penalty, drifting ahead as unfortunately Birdie Saints has gone off there. May have been an incident with drifting. That's dropped him down behind Frosty Life, who's up ahead now. As Nathan, Adam and Christian have joined this fight. Adam spies a gap to the inside on the RB. Through no-name corner. Adam round the outside. What a move from the Haas to get it done. As Christian watches that unfold. Brilliant commitment from the Haas. Good trust with the RB. As going off those Christian. So Yonder, 20 seconds off the lead after pitting under the VSC for the hard compound tyres. Put it on pens. There we go. So Enric right on the back of Sam. Red Bull versus Ferrari. And it's Williams versus Ferrari versus Mercedes for the podium. And Josh Hewitt wants to be getting involved in that as he's not a million miles away from DRS. But right now he's not going to have it. But he's got a clear gap ahead of drifting. Who's towing Frosty along as Callum gets a 3-second time penalty. Adam gets ahead, so that's another place he's made up on this lap. And Christian off there, cutting the corner into Nathan there. 10-second time penalty for the McLaren. Don't know if he got hit. As he's running into the back of Nathan. Don't know what's happened there with Christian. As Enric takes the lead away from Sam. And now we have a safety car. Christian may have lost his head. I don't know. Really don't. It's unlike Christian to do that, to be fair. But that will really save Ridian's race, I guess, as Enric's going slowly there. So the lead goes back to Sam. And that bunches them all up. Oh, and this is huge disappointment for Yonder, who pitted under the VSC a lap or two ago. Has now just thrown away all of those positions because everyone else can now pit under the same advantage. That's going to really help Bram, to be fair. And we'll get some race reactions to any incidents that have been caused. Nathan drive through for speeding under the safety car. As the leaders will come into the pits. Christian said he's really sorry. I don't know. Apparently, it's Nathan's retired as well. Christian said it won't happen again. I think it's because Nathan and Christian have had maybe a bit of history in terms of incidents. Christian says Nathan always spins him or something. But yeah, that was obviously out of line from the McLaren. This has saved Ridian's race as well, to be fair. Yeah, out of line for the McLaren. And yeah, Nathan's obviously not happy either. So then there were 13. So, well, I mean, predictions for where Callum was going to finish on debut. What did I tell Dan again earlier? Yeah, I said 14th last night. Now I said 13th today. It might even be higher than that. He's doing a pretty good job. Just don't go alongside or hit anyone under the safety car. He can go in AI if he wants to. Yeah, God. Oh, that was close. So yeah, just waiting on Ridian to catch back up. This will save his race, like I said. So Sam, after the stop, still ahead of Enric. Yonder, even after pitting under the VSC, still finds himself third, but he's going to be at a bit of a disadvantage. He is on the hards. But to be fair, a lot of others are as well. It's a bit of a split strategy there. Those, obviously, who started on the mediums can't go onto mediums because they'd obviously have to pit again. So they've had to go onto the hard compound tyres. But with 15 laps to go, it's a bit 50-50. Will the mediums make it to the end? How favourable will the hards be? Yonder's already had a few laps to try them out. So Bram and Eggy are going to be pretty good. Drifting as well. Birdie, Ridian. And depending if Ridian catches now, it'll probably be out for one more lap. Which I guess will help the tyre life. Interesting. As you can see there, they've had to pit onto a different tyre that's not the mediums. So those who started on softs had the free range to choose medium or hards. Chubston Drifting went different ways with that. I believe Chubston may be the only one who started on softs and still pitted onto hards. Obviously him, his pit crew are out for Sam first. I guess Adam as well. Drifting's caught up. So be in this lap. We've had 2 VSCs and 1 safety car already. We lost JJ Francis as he retired in the pit lane. We lost Christian after I think he just lost his head into turn 1. And hit Nathan, who gave up. Because I think Nathan did cause an incident with him, as that's why we saw Christian going across the bus stop. But then, what Christian did after was obviously not tolerated. So, he's probably going to get penalised. That caused the safety car. And then there were 12. So, this is going better. So, early laps, we saw Sam and Enric pull away, fight for the win. Pretty good moves. I think move of the race, though, so far was Adam round the outside of Nathan at No Name. Bit of swaps happening there. But this brings, everyone else closer to the leaders. Josh Hewitt and Drifting are obviously both going to be under investigation for what happened at the end of lap 1. It looks like they're both connected heading into the final corner. Josh was ahead. So and he just asked in the chat, what was that at Drifting? So Drifting may have tried to overtake him. They may have connected. Josh may have gone wide, potentially. I'm just trying to vision him ahead now. But we'll find out after the race. Dark horse of the race so far, though. Bramley at Lang has been quietly making his way up. Was on the podium. Yonder still managed to hang on, even though he pitted a lap or 2 before the safety car came out. And Sam will gear up for the restart. 3 wins to his name already, trying to take the championship lead for the first time this season at the halfway mark. He needs to outscore Josh by 8 points. And right now, he's in a pretty comfortable position. Enric, he's going to try and take a second win of the season. Yonder's going to try and take another podium. Bram, could he get another win? Eggy, always favourable to be consistent, gain when others make mistakes. Josh Hewitt, he's going to be hungry for more positions. And Sam Eller's gone then. The restart is underway. Lap 9 of the Belgian Grand Prix. And Sam just in front of Enric as Adam 3-second pen on the restart. Yonder 7/10 behind the Red Bull. Into turn 1 then, single file. As down the inside, Ridian trying to make a move on Adam on the medium compound tyres already. Just leaves enough space. And it looks like he's going to get the move done. So there we go, Ridian up to P11. Next up is the Alpine of Callum right in front of him. They're all blasting their battery then. Exiting Radion. And Sam holding on to the lead then. Eggy kind of close to Bram, but no one close enough for a move as Ridian trying to go again on the Alpine, who's dropped down to 11th. But now he's blasting all his battery. He's coming back to the inside on the Williams, and Ridian hangs it round the outside to stay in front. And Adam, slight wheel banging with the Alpine, leaves him room to the inside. And with the mediums, Callum is back in front of the Haas driver. So Sam and Enric still nose to tail. Yonder, a couple laps on those hards. He's going to try and stick within DRS, but look at that. He's already over a second behind. Bram keeping him on his toes. And look at that. Drifting's already lost a second as well to Josh Hewitt. So yeah, Drifting, as much as he put in a great lap at the end of qualifying, lacking a bit of pace at the moment. And Chubster trying to just follow him with. And that's surprising because Drifting's on the mediums as well. So, Ridian, good restart. Gained 2 places up into the points. And the guy ahead of him has a penalty, so he would gain another place too. Right, let's look at back to pens. There we go. Right. Yeah, 1.1 seconds. They're not blasting their battery. They're keeping it pretty level. But yeah, Yonder is not going to have DRS. There's a yellow for Adam, who's gone off at Blanchimon. Don't know if that was an incident with Birdie or he lost himself. Bit unusual if so. But yeah, Ridian within DRS of Frosty. Drifting does not have the DRS, so I think just about missed out. Look, he's blasted everything to try and get within DRS. And we'll find out if he does have it. Which he does not. But he's left Chubster for DRS. Any moves further forward? Not quite. Yonder's also blasted a lot of his battery to try and get close to a second of the top two. That is going to hurt him now in the middle sector. Onto the curb, gets caught out by it. Making mistakes. And Bram is breathing down his neck, trying to get the move done. Because Bram on those mediums could definitely deliver some good pace. The Tier 2 Season 6 World Champion knows a thing or two. And right now he's putting Yonder under pressure. Look, he's lost 6/10 already since the last few corners have happened. And Bram all over the back of the McLaren, letting him know he's there. But if anything, that's just kind of holding them up more. And Drifting could use this to his advantage. He's already gained nearly 50% more battery on this lap to where he was at Radion. And he's not a million miles away from getting some DRS. And there goes Bram. He's got quite a lot more battery to use if he wants to. 2 seconds the gap now. The top two flying away as they were before the safety car. Bram round the outside of Blanchimon. Verstappen and Nazaresk as we see Eggy trying to fight with Josh Hewitt as well. The four of them side by side. Josh Hewitt round the outside of Eggy. Bram trying to go round the outside of Yonder. And wheel to wheel for 3rd and 4th. Wheel to wheel for 5th and 6th. And Yonder has the DRS to stay in 3rd. And Josh Hewitt is ahead of Eggy, trying to get round the outside of Bram. Drifting has caught these lot. And Josh and Eggy are still going to go wheel to wheel as they head down through a rouge. Yonder, Bram, Josh Hewitt blasting his battery to get the move done. Ahead of the Mercedes. Drifting has now luckily caught these lot. But now Yonder's going to be in big trouble. No DRS for the McLaren. Kicking up some grass as well. So Bram is up in a 3rd and Josh will most likely get up in a 4th. Eggy's done it again. Eggy onto the grass to the inside. And he's got the place on them. He's done it again like last season. And so Bram 3rd. Eggy 4th. Josh Hewitt 5th. Drifting 6th. And Yonder went from 3rd all the way down to 7th in that whole straight. You can see how much time they've lost to the leaders. 3.5 seconds now. Oh, what was it? Move of the season? Eggy on the grass a little bit on the last lap, I believe, on Seb and someone else. And he thought, let's try it again. It worked so well last time. Yeah. I mean, that move in Bahrain where he overtook 4 people, that's also up there. But yeah, brilliant stuff from the Mercedes. Chubster, just unfortunately not quite with these lot. Frosty sticking with Ridian under pressure from Callum, who's sticking with the Williams. And yeah, Adam, obviously after causing that yellow, has got some work to do. And yeah, Enric's blasting a lot of battery. It seems at this stage, Sam's obviously got the pace on those mediums to nearly pull away from Enric on the hards. But towards the end of the race, it could be advantage Enric, because obviously Sam's mediums are going to wear out quicker, and Enric can be quicker in the middle sector, as we see Callum ahead now of Ridian, who's off the track. So they're fighting for P10. Look further forward, it's exactly a second out, under a second as we pass the detection coming up. So I believe Chubster now will join this fight as he's pulled away from Frosty Life. Lap 12 of the Belgian Grand Prix. We see Josh close to Eggy, who's still got the DRS of Bram. Josh trying to get in the slipstream. Eggy blasting all his battery to try and stay in front. And Josh is going to brake later, go around the outside of the Mercedes. Will take a track limit warning if it was so, but he's got the move done. Good stuff from the Sauber. So Bram has the pace to create a bit of a gap, but they're sticking with, due to how powerful the DRS is. Eggy struggling a little bit, just trying to gain back some battery he lost. Frosty, and now, oh, Ridian turning in a bit there on Callum. Sends him for a bit of a slide. Chubster now 3 second. Frosty trying to close in on these lot. And yeah, Ridian still struggling down in 10th. Just had a little moment there with Callum. And look at that, Enric nearly a second behind Sam. And as we can see, he's blasting his battery, trying to get back within a second of the Ferrari. Keeping it in hot lap on 50%. Enric down to 30. And we're talking fine margins here. It's back up to a second. And it's now literally a second. You can see that thousandth flickering. Under a second now, into the heavy braking of the bus stop. Enric needs to nail this. And he's just about got it back under a second. 5 seconds now, as we see all of the 5 cars behind. Nose to tail. And Chubster has made it a 6-car train. As to the inside, drifting on Eggy. Brakes very late. Or Eggy broke really early. Or both. But Enric, is he going to get the DRS on Sam? Was he close enough at the detection? No! So Sam can maybe begin to pull away now. He's used his battery as well. We'll look back behind to P3, where we see Josh Hewitt is surely going to get up into 3rd. Bram goes very defensive, and there's a crash between the Williams and the Sauber. And I think Josh may have just avoided some damage there, but for the second time this race, Josh Hewitt's... Oh no, Josh does have damage. He's lost his right end plate. So Bram went very defensive, kept moving right to block off Josh, and they eventually came together. Oh, more drama at the Belgian Grand Prix there. So Bram still leading this train ahead of drifting, ahead of Eggy, ahead of Josh, who's now got damage, and corners like Buon are going to be quite the struggle. As Yonder, and then Chubster, and if they keep fighting, it'll be Frosty Life as well. Callum's caught back up to Ridian, and drifting, and Alex are going wheel to wheel. Alex around the outside, not really a place where you see a move happening, and Bram keeps in front. Eggy has saved up a lot of battery. You can see how much they're losing to the leaders. Enric out of a second of Sam, who's trying to go for the first time this season to get back-to-back victories. And what would be the championship lead. Kicking up sparks and dirt from Bram to drifting to Eggy to Josh. Is Josh going to pit, or does he stay with these lot? He's going to have to try and stick it out. Another time penalty for the Alpine. But it's his debut, fair enough. And yeah, Frosty has caught this train. So 3rd all the way down to 9th. Fastest lap. 45s for the top 2. 46s for the rest. And yeah, Adam's also lapping to these guys' pace as well. So here comes drifting then. This time Bram doesn't close off the door as much. Is Eggy going to try another move? as he flies past the Williams and is going to fly past the Aston Martin. Eggy, another brilliant move to the inside. And now he's up to third. Ahead of Drifting, who stays where he is out of all that. Josh Hewitt now, 3 seconds, got caught on that curb. As Bram has lost a couple places. Eggy loves that part of the track. As we have a yellow. And oh, it's unfortunately Birdie. Don't know if he lost on his own. Maybe close to Ridian. He's kicked up some dirt there. 1.3 seconds now out in front. Sam versus Enric. And yeah, it looks like this fight from third all the way down to ninth is going to kick off more. As we can see, out of the 7 of them, the first 3 are on mediums. The 4 behind are all on the hards. So yeah, so far Eggy's made up 8 places. Bram's made up 4. And Ridian's made up 5. As the laps tick by, Eggy still in front of Drifting. Is he going to go around the outside at the bus stop? He leaves him the space, does the Mercedes. These two who were predicted at the start to be title contenders. And they finished both on the podium in the opening round. Eggy putting it into none. Playing DRS games. Bram around the outside as well of the Mercedes. And then nose to tail as well. Is Eggy going to try another double move? Is he having some fun? Well, he's definitely going to be in a good spot because Drifting will not have the DRS. Bram doesn't have much battery to play with. And here comes Eggy again. Blasting all that battery. Which way is he going to go? This time he's going to go left. And he sees the opportunity to get ahead. And Drifting loses 2 places like Bram did last lap. And Eggy's back up in a third. I think he knows at this point they're probably not going to catch the top 2. So this is what they're fighting for. And yeah, 7-car fight, all for the podium. 3 of them have penalties. Hewitt, Chubster and Frosty Life. So it's, well, Eggy versus Bram versus Drifting for the podium. And maybe Yonder, if he can make his way through. But he's got the oldest tyres of the lot. And Enric still keeping the gap constant. Same battery levels as Sam. It's not over yet. Because Enric is going to have better tyre wear at the end. And he's going to close back in to fight Sam. Eggy is hacking and nice. Yeah, fair. As Yonder unfortunately now drops to the back of the train. As Frosty Life is now ahead. Because these positions matter. Hewitt, Chubster and Frosty all on the same amount of pens. Drifting and Bram closing in on Eggy. Eggy really slow. Bram's got tagged a little bit from Drifting there. Because they were going that slowly. Bram has not saved any battery at all. Or if he did, he's blasted it all in Blanchimon. So as Bram... No, he's going to stay behind Eggy. Who's going to this time round not have DRS. But they're coming up to the detection point. He saved a lot of battery. Once again, Bram just hasn't got the battery. But he's really close to the Mercedes. And now he's going to have the DRS. And what wins out? Low battery and DRS or a lot of battery? Well, we're about to find out. They're wheel to wheel. And it's close. But with that DRS, it's Drifting who comes out in front of the pair. Who has the battery and the DRS. So, 3rd lap in a row, we've seen 5th go to 3rd. So, they're pretty good constant swaps. It's very entertaining. They're losing time to the leaders, though. They're just on another one at Spa. And this is the thing about Tier 2 this season. You can have people out in front pretty quick, but it changes every race. A few weeks ago, it was Josh Hewitt. A few weeks before that, it was, I don't know, Bram. A few weeks before that, a few weeks later, it's Sam again. And Enric, who's already won in pretty dominant display and pretty good, pretty amazing display in Imola, is now nearly under a second behind Sam. Sam and Enric using a bit more battery this lap. And once again, it's thousandths. 6 to 7 laps to go then. And Enric is just under a second now. Where's the detector? Oh, I think he may have just missed out on DRS, but he's definitely under a second. 8 tenths now. So Enric fighting his way back into this. And unless there's an incident or someone unlocks some major tyre performance. To be fair, Drifting's doing that. It's nearly a second. I don't really see any of these lot pulling away without an incident. So Yonder knows 3 places are up for grabs here if he can just stick with them. And a P6, I mean, it's a bit disappointing considering he was 4th or 3rd. So Drifting has a 7/10 advantage to Bram, who has no battery again. He's allergic to putting it in none, it seems, because Eggy is flying on the straights again. And is going to be ahead of Bram, who breaks a little later. Eggy once again leaves the room. We're seeing this from the helicopter cam. Bram hangs it round the outside. This battling could let Drifting get away. Bram forces Eggy a little onto the curb, but it's fair. And Bram stays ahead now of Eggy. And if Drifting can get a move on, that fight could have let him breathe a little. As to be fair, Bram has saved a bit of battery. And it's just keeping within a second. But it's going to be close by the time they get to Blanchimont. And yeah, good fighting between Eggy and Bram there. Bram gave Eggy just enough space, not a millimetre more. Chubster, while all that was happening, got ahead of Josh as well, up into 6th. Who didn't have the greatest of races last time out in Britain, P9. Having a better one now. And we see Enric closing in 6/10 to Sam. The mediums are starting to wear out. And this is where the hards are going to come back into favour. So Drifting, Bram and Eggy all on the mediums. But it looks like Chubster's activated what's left of his hard compound tyres. And look at that. It is over a second as Bram, big mistake, has let Eggy go. And that could mean Drifting gets this podium. Which he's going to very much be happy for, as he's also trying to close in on Josh Hewitt's lead. Which will be Sam's lead after this race at the moment. Because remember, Josh Hewitt has that damage. He's under investigation for 2 things now. One, probably not his fault, with Bram, who's also under investigation. Drifting, remember, is also under investigation with the incident with Josh, so he needs to get a move on. So Eggy, once again, could find himself in a prime position for a podium. Enric did not get past Sam, but Chubster's making moves. He's past Bram. He's past Enric. Chubster's up to 4th now. As that once again, they all make it through Les Combes unscathed. Bram into the gravel a little bit there. Josh Hewitt all over the back of the Williams. Bram struggling now on those mediums that are wearing out. As soon as they hit, what, 30%, they do start to go off a bit. So, bit of an update. Yeah, looks like Callum's lost a little bit of ground. 6.7 ahead of Ridian, who did pit again, and I'm sure will be with under 6 seconds ahead of Birdie, who will... It's looking like he'll finish 12th. But on debut, that's still pretty good considering what we were predicting. 13th, 4th. I know it's last, but still. And speaking of last, here's the opposite. For first, Enric has caught the Ferrari. He's right on the back of Sam now, who's trying to save all the battery he can. They know they have a bunch of time behind, nearly 10 seconds to play with. And now, on lap 19, we're closing into the end already. Enric versus Sam for the Grand Prix win. For Josh's sake, he's going to hope and pray Enric wins this, because 7 points is a huge advantage to win or take. As Enric slightly tags the wall there. To win or lose. So maybe Enric won't get the place this time. Got a little too close to the wall there. Yeah, you see all these guys in none, and then Bram. I haven't seen him in none once this race. Who's at the back of the train? Yonder, and he's got the most battery, as you'd think anyway. So Chubster with a 3 second, gonna come to pressure from Eggy, who's gonna blast everything again. He's gaining on the Ferrari. He's backed off. He knows it'll probably be a bit too much of a risk to fight again. And yeah, Bram's going to probably fall down the order if he keeps struggling like this on the mediums. Ridian 3 second now. So he's going to have to gain another 2 seconds. Otherwise, Birdie's going to hold on to 11th. But it looks like the top 10 are set with points. Adam, even after 2 spins, is going to walk away with a point. Yonder just needs to make sure he's within 3 of Chubster, who they are slowly gaining back on drifting. Obviously, they have DRS and whatnot. And drifting's pace has been a bit lackluster here and there, but he's still there when it counts to take these kind of places. And it's close between the top 2. I saw it under a 10th right there. And Enric all over the back of Sam. And with 3 to go, it's game on at the top. Enric with a much better exit with those hards. They've still got quite a lot more life in those mediums. With the early safety car, it meant pit stops and strategies were changed. Adam, another time penalty. This time round on lap 20. Enric could be taking the lead away from Sam, who's led the majority. And down through a Rouge, up through Radion. Enric will be in the slipstream. He'll get the DRS. And he's 3/10 behind the Ferrari now, who's in hot lap. But Enric is in overtake. Sam in the middle of the track. Enric decides to go to the left on the racing line. He's going to fly past the Ferrari. He's going to go into the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix with 2 and a bit laps to go. Ridian, fastest lap of the Grand Prix, closing up to the back of Callum. We'll look to the big train. Yonder is now making moves up past Frosty Life. The rest still staying as they are. So Chubb's had to blast a lot there to stay in front. Birdie with another time penalty. I think that confirms he'll be 12th, unfortunately. But yeah, still makes it. Has made it to the end of the race, which was his key goal. So now Enric in the lead, but Sam, we know how smart he can be with the DRS and whatnot. But can he stick with Enric is the key question. Because if he gets him on lap 21, then Enric can get him on the final lap. Obviously, there is this whole Blanchimont straight, but there's no DRS. It's all about battery then. And how much you've willed to risk getting into Lecom ahead, and how much you're willing to save in the middle sector for any sort of attack in the final sector. As you can see, pretty level battery, exactly level battery between the top two. You can just see how much more confidence Enric has in those last 2 corners. The gap went from 3 to 5/10. We start the penultimate lap of the Belgian Grand Prix. Enric going for a 2nd win of the season. Sam going for a 4th win of the season and to try and take the championship lead away as Chubster's fallen to 2.5 seconds now behind Drifting, who's under pressure from Eggy, who's got a whole lot of battery to use. Then Bram, then Josh, then Yonder. And this is going to get spicy. It's going to get chaotic. Here we go then. But we'll quickly look back at the leaders, and that was a pretty obviously expected swap between Sam and Enric, and this will go to the final lap. Here comes Eggy then with so much more battery to use. Chubster's got nothing, and he's a bit of a sitting duck, but he's got a bit of a gap to Bram, who's got a bit of a gap to Josh. So I think the only swap is going to be Eggy on Chubster. And they're keeping it clean, and it's going to go down to the last lap. Frosty has actually left this train. He's struggling there on the hards, and he's fallen out of DRS. So, fight for the win. And fight for 4th, all the way down to 8th. It's like Bram will get 5th, Yonder will get 6th, Chubster will get 7th, Josh will get 8th, but there's still going to be some swaps. Eggy knows he doesn't really have to fight Chubster that much because he had a 3-sec. He just has to worry about Bram, who's now decided to know what battery saving is, has got a whole battery to use, and now does the DRS games begin with DRS Chicken heading in to the last lap. Sam's in none. He's got a lot of battery, but Enric's got more. There we go. Sam puts into none. They're past the detection point. Enric will get the DRS, but this is the crucial stage. Does Enric get past him now? Does Sam let him go past? He's in none, and Enric knows it. But the detection point is after turn 1 as Bram is ahead of Chubster. They're all fighting into the bus stop for track position. Josh around the outside of Chubster. Looks like Enric's going to stay behind Sam for now. And they're all fighting for the same piece of tarmac too. Enric has stayed behind Sam, and this is surely going to be the race lead. As dropping down the order is Eggy to the inside, is gaining it all back though. And Josh Hewitt out of all that is now 4th. He's decided to take no DRS, not waiting around. And we see up in front, Eggy blasting everything. So is Sam to the inside for the Grand Prix victory. Enric is into the lead ahead of Sam, who's now just going to try and stick with and hope and pray he can get him at Blanchimont. But Enric is ahead and leading as Josh Hewitt makes a big collision with Chubster, goes off, drops down the order, and that's the final nail in the coffin for Josh Hewitt's race as Eggy fights away with Bram. This is for position. Bram round the outside. Eggy leaves in the room. They're so close they do make a bit of contact. Bram versus Eggy into the hairpin. Can Bram hang it fully round the outside? What a move from the Williams to get in ahead and into No Name. And Bram puts one on Eggy for the moves of the race. So the 3 people who don't have pens have emerged in front of this train. Bram, then Eggy, then Yonder, Chubster, Frosty, Josh. It's all gone wrong for the championship leader. And it looks like we're going to have a new one, even though he's not going to maybe win this race. Sam blasting absolutely everything to try and get back in front of Enric. He's going to need a big send. But Enric looks to be just enough ahead. Is Sam going to go for it? No, he's too far behind. It's been another brilliant race from the Red Bull. And round the final corner, Enric, for the second time in EXFL, wins the Belgian Grand Prix just ahead of Sam. Drifting's going to come home for P3. 5 seconds clear of these three fighting for P4. Eggy round the outside of Bram, and there's contact. And Yonder's going to go through as Eggy gets a penalty. And Yonder may have just found himself P4 because of a last corner incident between the Mercedes and the Williams. Yonder 4th, Bram 5th, Chubster 6th, Josh 7th, Frosty 8th, Adam 9th, Eggy, I don't know, down to 10th because of a 10-second at the end. Ridian will be 11th. It's an unfortunate race for him. He'll cross the line. Chaotic madness, like usual, to end the first half of the season. And like usual, we don't really know what's going to happen post-race. But like always, I'll update you next week at the Hungarian Grand Prix. But here we see Birdie Saints on his debut for P12. He has finished the race. Callum round the final corner. In his debut, it will be P12 for him. So after all that, even if, the thing between Drifting and Josh on the opening lap is Drifting's fault and he gets a 5-sec, he's just about got away with it. Right. Enric, Sam, Drifting. Yeah, I can interview all of them. Nice. And yeah, Josh Hewitt, 3 incidents he's been involved with. One of them, I guess, wasn't his fault with Bram. But the other 2, maybe. Don't even know what happened on the last lap there on the straight. We saw him left, right, sideways, hit Chubstroff as well. Right, let's get the top 3 in. Hope you all enjoyed that race, by the way. That does mark the halfway stage now. Still as unpredictable as ever of who's going to come out on top, which is great to see. And yeah, let's get the top 3 in. Enric. Sam. Drifting. No party issues this week, which is good. Alright, we have the top 2 joining the party at the moment, still waiting for Drifting, but yeah.
Well then.
This is actually a pretty good representation how quick these 2 were to join, and then the rest of the field. Wow. We have all 3 in the party now. I'll quickly go to the showroom.
Drifting, we're on the podium together. It's the time.
The speaker's dead,
Oh,
mate.
here we go.
Ah.
Right. Alright, Alex, are you there, mate?
Yep, I have.
Have you included your audio?
Yes.
Yep.
Sam, have you included your audio?
Yes.
Enric?
Yep.
Nice. You're a bit quiet, mate, but
I can't do nothing about it.
oh, there we go. No, you're good now.
Okay.
Alright, so we'll start for you then. Right, Enric, you have just won the Tier 2 Season X Belgian Grand Prix, your second victory of the season, and once again, it was done in tremendous fashion. A brilliant race fight with Sam throughout those 22 laps. A brilliant pole position to just about, by 3 thousandths, take it. So your first pole, and you convert it into a win. It's been a stellar performance, so very well done. How was it from your end?
Yeah, the start, so the first stint was alright. I think Adam spun, and from that point on, I thought the race was going to be a little bit chill for me, but Sam came right in the back of my wing, and we had from there on a really nice battle, and there were like 2 VSCs, so it made my strategy a little bit complicated. But at the real safety car, I went into pits and took a little gamble. So I took the long way, and Sam took the medium way. And as we saw, the long way with the hearts was a little bit better at the end, but we had some really nice fights. A little bit of DRS chicken, but it was okay. It was a nice race.
Yeah, summed it up great. Yeah, you two obviously. Well, there was a lot of fighting from third onwards, but you two were clearly the top 2 today. Had the best pace, and it was close between who was going to win. But like you just explained, the hards were probably the more favourable one by the end. The mediums were wearing off, but still, you had great pace to only the gap only went to 1.2, I believe, as the highest, 1.3. Yeah. So yeah, still had to have great pace to keep up with Sam, and then you closed back in, overtook, got everything right, just about held it into the last corner. I didn't know if Sam was maybe going to try a little send, but I think the gap was just about enough to hold on. So yeah, another brilliant win for you. And in terms of Josh Hewitt, who was the championship leader before today, he'll be happy that you stopped Sam from getting an extra 7 points. But yeah, today all about you. Very well done. And on to Hungary. How are you feeling for that one?
Hungary is one of my favorite tracks. I just love the track layout. The qualifying is really if you mess up the qualifying, your race is going to be boring or really chaos. So the qualifying.
Dun.
Right, sorry, I'm back.
yeah.
So Hungary's one of your I had low issue there. Right, so Hungary, one of your favorite best tracks. So that's good. Hopefully, looking forward to you continuing some good performance there next week. So yeah, well done today, and on to Hungary for you. Right. So on to P2. Sam, are you there, mate?
Yes, I am.
All right, so it was another great race for you at the front. This time, no incident. It was just a really good battle with Enric. What was your strategy, like your plan for the last few laps? Like what was going through your head?
Obviously, I had a 1 second gap, and I was trying to keep that, but the mediums were gone. I was lucky to actually keep the DRS to Enric when he. Well, actually, I didn't even have DRS, but I was just lucky to keep with him because he was rapid all race. But yeah, it's annoying not getting the win. But P2 is not bad, and I think I'm leading the championship now, which I'm not sure. But
well, yeah, unless Josh Hewitt can somehow get up to 5th, then you'll be level. But I'm pretty sure he'll be 6th or lower. So I think I can be confident enough to say you are now at the halfway mark, the new World Championship leader for EXFL Tier 2 for the first time ever.
I'm not going to say anything because I'll jinx myself.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'll jinx myself.
But once again, another championship leader. We've had Drifting, we've had Eggy, Chubster, Josh, now you. So I think that's all 5 that I said the other week who could fight for this have led it, at least at some stage now. So yeah, great stuff from you.
Mm.
You've been very consistent lately. You're getting the good points. And yeah, another great race for you, another podium. How are you feeling for Hungary next week?
To be honest, barely even touch Hungary. Don't know if I'm fast or not.
That's fair.
But the thing is, with Spa, I thought I was going to be quite slow, but turns out I wasn't. But yeah, fair play to Emmerich, fair play to Drifting, fair play to everyone, really, including Bram, who obviously got quite high with an injured leg. But
Yeah, he managed to make it to the end, to be fair to him.
So I'm just gonna do a bit of practice, hopefully feel a bit quick, and we'll see what happens in Hungary.
Yep, you obviously started off this first half with a pole in Australia, reserving for Haas in your debut race. Obviously, don't really need to go into the race and whatnot, but after a few, you
No,
got
you should. You should.
the win. Ninth. But obviously in Japan, you managed to get that great win in the wet. So we'll see how you start off the second half. There's still a long way to go, so this could be anyone's. It's all to play for, and game on. So yeah, well done to both you on the top two.
Well done.
And on to
Sam.
P3, drifting.
Right.
Wow. So right at the end, you put in a pretty solid lap to get up into the top 5.
Damage limitation, fuck them all.
And then I do have to ask, what happened at the end of that one?
Oh,
Well, how I see it is, I got left no room.
Were you
I was on the
trying
outside.
to overtake Josh, or were you ahead of Josh?
We were side by side through the first part of the chicane. Then I gave him plenty of room on the inside, and he just went straight on. That's literally it.
Like he went wide into you, and you connected into the wall.
I'll send you the
So I'm
clip if you
trying
want
to
to have a
picture.
look.
Oh, right, okay, I'll look at it in a minute.
I've
yeah.
seen some of it.
But yeah, that dropped you down the order a little bit. Did you get any damage?
No.
Or did you just? Okay, so you got just about avoided.
I
some.
I had a bit of a rant on how strong DRS is on this game.
It is. Yep.
What else? I owe the podium to Bram. Pretty much held up Eggy and
I was
whatnot.
going to say, yeah, they fought a lot. Yeah, you made your way through under the pit stops, and then overtake after overtake. You, Bram, and Eggy swapping for a few laps from 3rd to 5th was great to see.
Yeah.
And then right place, right time. You were 3rd when Bram did decide to fight a bit more, and in the end, you managed to get the gap over 5 seconds.
Yeah.
To the car behind.
Josh Hewitt's having a bit of a crash out over that thing
Oh,
because
yeah.
he's tagging me to come back into the call.
Right. Okay. Fair. Well, we'll have a look at it later on. But for now, it's a podium. It's good points. You gain as well.
I think I'm second. I think.
Oh, it's so close to call. I generally don't know, but we'll find out in the coming days. But anyway, well done to all 3 of you on the podium. That
Thank
has
you.
been the Belgian Grand Prix.
Thanks.
And yeah, drifting. How are you feeling for Hungary next week?
Do you want the diplomatic answer or the true answer?
Whatever answer you feel is better.
Apart from time trials, I've BRL sign-ups, I've not touched it.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
So Hungary does seem like a track not many have attempted
It's because
too much.
no calendars have it. If you know what I
Yeah.
mean.
Well, the 3rd win on the cards for Enric then.
Yeah.
Let's see who can stop him. And I don't know if it's a late charge from you, Enric, but it's great to see someone who's not currently in the fight potentially try and get into the fight and reshuffle the order. And it's very clean as well, which is great to see. So well done to all 3 of you. On to Hungary next week. And yeah, let the second half begin.
Yeah. Right.